You are sitting in a room, and the silence is heavy. It is thick enough to choke on. You can feel the tension radiating from the person across from you. Your boss, your partner, that friend who always seems to have the upper hand. They aren't saying a word. They are just looking at you. And in that vacuum, in that empty space where no words exist, you start to panic. Your heart rate spikes. Your palms sweat. You feel this desperate, clawing need to fill the void. You interpret their silence as judgment. You interpret their lack of reaction as condemnation. So you break. You open your mouth. You start talking. You start explaining. You rush to justify why you made that decision, why you were late, why you didn't answer the text, why you are the way you are. You vomit words into the air, hoping that if you just give them enough context, if you just provide enough data, they will understand you. They will forgive you. They will see you as competent. You layer excuse upon excuse, detail upon detail, thinking you are building a bridge of understanding. But you aren't building a bridge. You are digging a grave. Stop and look at their face while you are speaking. Really look at them. Are they nodding in empathy? Are they leaning in with compassion? No. They are watching you unravel. They are watching you dance. Every word you speak is a confirmation of their power over you. By rushing to explain yourself, you have just told them, without saying it directly, that you answer to them, that their approval is the oxygen you need to survive. You have established a hierarchy where they are the judge, and you are the defendant pleading for a lighter sentence. And here is the uncomfortable truth you are trying to ignore. You explain your silence because you are terrified of being seen as stupid. You have this deep-seated insecurity that if you don't speak, if you don't contribute, if you don't show your work, people will assume you are uneducated. You think silence looks like emptiness. You think that if you don't vocalize your intelligence, nobody will know it exists. You treat every conversation like an audition where you have to prove your worthiness to be in the room. I just wanted to clarify. The reason I didn't say anything earlier was, I know this looks bad, but listen to yourself. It is pathetic. It is the sound of a subordinate. You are terrified that if you remain quiet, they will write you off as a failure. So you trade your power for their validation. You trade your mystery for their comfort. You think you are being clear, but you are actually being transparent. And in the laws of power, transparency is fatal. When you are transparent, you are predictable. When you are predictable, you can be maneuvered, manipulated, and discarded. Think about the last time you over-explained yourself. Did it actually help? Did they suddenly respect you more? Or did they just look at you with that dull, glazed-over expression, waiting for you to finish so they could dismiss you? The moment you start explaining your silence, you validate their suspicion that you did something wrong. Innocent people do not scramble to provide alibis. Competent people do not beg to be understood. Kings do not explain their decrees to the court jester. By over-explaining, you are signaling guilt. You are signaling that you feel small. You are telling them, loud and clear, I am uncomfortable with myself. Please tell me I am okay. And the worst part? You are robbing yourself of the most potent weapon in the human arsenal. You are destroying the vacuum. When you stay silent, you create a void. Human beings are terrified of the unknown. It is our oldest evolutionary fear. When you are silent, you become a blank screen. And on that blank screen, people project their own insecurities, their own fears, and their own paranoia. But you don't let that happen. You are too busy painting the picture for them, making sure they see you exactly how you want to be seen, not realizing that you are stripping away the very thing that makes you dangerous. You think your words are clarifying the situation. Wrong. Your words are limiting you. Once you define yourself, You can be categorized. Once you explain your position, you can be attacked. You are giving them the blueprint of your mind, handing over the architectural drawings of your insecurities, and then wondering why they know exactly how to push your buttons later. You are struggling because you believe silence is an absence. You believe it is a lack of something, a lack of knowledge, a lack of confidence, a lack of answer. You have been conditioned to believe that the smart person is the one with the hand raised, the one with the quick retort, the one filling the airtime. Let that sink in. You have been trained to be a noise machine. You have been trained to believe that your value is measured in word count. And because of this training, you are bleeding power every single time you open your mouth to explain why you were quiet. You are apologizing for your own existence. You need to understand that your silence is not a defect. It is not a sign that you are slow or uneducated or failing. It is a locked door. And the people around you, your boss, your friends, your enemies, they are dying to know what is behind that door. But you keep opening it and inviting them in for tea, desperate for them to like the furniture. It stops now. You have to stop explaining the unexplainable. You have to stop treating your silence like a crime that needs a defense attorney. Because while you are busy chattering away to prove you are smart, the real players are watching you. They are listening, and they are smiling because you are telling them everything they need to know to destroy you. You have been brainwashed by a world that worships noise. From the moment you entered a classroom, you were fed a lie. You were told that participation grades matter. You were told that the kid who raises his hand the fastest is the smartest. You were told that if you aren't contributing to the chatter, you aren't contributing at all. And so, you internalized a poison. You equated silence with stupidity. You carry this insecurity into every room you enter. You walk into a meeting or a dinner party or a family gathering, and you feel the clock ticking. If you go 5 minutes without speaking, a voice in your head starts screaming. They think you're slow. They think you don't get it. They think you're a failure. And because you are terrified of this label, uneducated, passive, weak, you force yourself to speak. You chime in with meaningless agreement. Yeah, totally. That makes sense. I was just thinking that. You throw these verbal scraps to the group like you're paying a tax. A tax to prove you are present. A tax to prove you have a brain. But look at what is actually happening. Look at the person who is dominating the conversation. The one who loves the sound of their own voice. Are they actually saying anything profound? Are they shifting the paradigm? No. They are mostly repeating buzzwords. They are mostly signaling their own anxiety. They are terrified of silence because in silence, they have to sit with their own mediocrity. So they fill the air with noise to distract everyone from the fact that they have nothing of value to offer. And you? You sit there, actually thinking. You are connecting dots they haven't even seen yet. You are observing body language. You are noticing who is lying, who is uncomfortable, who is holding back. You are processing data at a level they cannot comprehend because their bandwidth is consumed by their own mouth. But you don't value this power. You despise it. You think your silence is a defect. You think that because they aren't looking at you, they don't respect you. Here is the dark reality of human psychology. People project their own limitations onto you. When an average person is silent, it is usually because they are confused. It is because they are lost. It is because they have nothing to say. So when they see you being silent, they assume you are just like them. They assume you are uneducated or a failure because that is what silence feels like to them. They are projecting their own emptiness onto your screen. And this is where you make the fatal error. You feel the weight of their projection. You feel their judgment. So you rush to explain. You explain your silence to prove you aren't dumb. I'm just listening. I'm just taking it all in. I'm really observant. Stop it. The moment you tell them, I am observant, you are no longer observing. You are performing. You are begging them to acknowledge your intelligence. You are saying, please don't think I'm stupid. I promise I'm smart inside. It is weak. It reeks of insecurity. Let them think you are uneducated. Let them think you are slow. Let them think you are a failure. Do you know what happens when your enemy thinks you are stupid? They lower their guard. They stop filtering what they say around you. They get sloppy. They reveal their plans, their weaknesses, and their true alliances because they don't view you as a threat. They view you as furniture. This is the ultimate camouflage. While they are busy posturing and preening, trying to look like the smartest person in the room, you are actually becoming the most dangerous person in the room. You are gathering the ammunition that you will use later. But you throw this advantage away the second you open your mouth to explain that you are actually very smart. Real intelligence does not need to advertise itself. A lion does not need to explain to the gazelle that it is a predator. It just is. When you explain your silence, you are trying to manage their perception of you. You are trying to control what they think. And that is a game you will always lose. You cannot control their perception, but you can control your reality. The reality is that silence is the hallmark of the superior mind. The reality is that while they are exhausting themselves trying to impress each other, you are conserving energy. You are investing your time in analysis, not performance. But you have to be willing to sit in the discomfort of being underestimated. You have to be willing to let the boss think you're quiet for a few weeks. You have to be willing to let the fake friends think you're boring. Let them pile their assumptions on you. Let them build a caricature of you in their minds as the failure who doesn't have much to say. Because when you finally do move, when you finally do speak, it will come from nowhere. It will hit them with the force of a freight train because they never saw it coming. They were too busy looking down on you to notice you were outmaneuvering them. Stop trying to correct their assumption. Use it. Wear their judgment like a cloak of invisibility. If they want to think you are uneducated, let them. It is always better to be an underestimated master than an overestimated fool. You are in a high-stakes conversation. Maybe it's a salary negotiation. Maybe it's a confrontation with a partner who crossed a line. Maybe it's a friend asking a favor you don't want to grant. They finish their sentence. The ball is in your court. They are waiting for your reaction. They are waiting for the validation, or the anger, or the excuse. They are waiting for the okay. And you give them nothing. You just look at them. You don't frown. You don't smile. You don't nod. You maintain eye contact, steady and calm, and you let the silence stretch out. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4. Watch what happens to them. It is a masterclass in human psychology. At 3 seconds, they maintain their composure. At 5 seconds, they shift in their seat. They break eye contact. They look at their hands. At 7 seconds, the panic sets in. And then, the miracle happens. They start talking again. I know it's a lot to ask. Obviously, we can be flexible on the numbers. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant. They start bargaining against themselves. They start dismantling their own argument. They start apologizing for things you haven't even accused them of yet. Why? Because you created a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. Physics teaches us that if you create an empty space, matter will rush in to fill it. The human mind works exactly the same way. The human mind abhors a social vacuum. Silence is viewed as a threat, as a glitch in the matrix that must be fixed immediately. When you don't speak, you remove the feedback loop. Humans are social creatures. We rely on micro-expressions, and verbal cues to navigate safety. Am I safe? Does he agree? Uncomfortable too. You feel that awkwardness rising in your chest. You want to be nice. You want to relieve the tension. So you speak. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, I'll think about it. No problem. Pop. The tension breaks. The vacuum is filled, and you can see the visible relief on their face. Their shoulders drop. They breathe. They smile. You have just let them off the hook. You have just taken the pressure off their chest and put it back on yours. You gave them the certainty they were desperate for. You killed the paranoia. And in doing so, you killed your leverage. You need to understand that the awkwardness you feel is actually power. That tension, that is the sound of you winning. That heavy, thick air in the room is the weight of your authority pressing down on them. When you rush to explain your silence, or when you rush to fill the silence with pleasantries, you are acting as their emotional caretaker. You are saying, I can see you are uncomfortable. Let me make you feel better. Why? Why is it your job to make them feel comfortable with their own inadequacy? Why is it your job to soothe their anxiety? It isn't. If they are paranoid, let them be paranoid. If they are spiraling, let them spiral. The more they spiral, the more information they reveal. They will tell you things they never intended to say just to keep the noise going. They will reveal their hand. They will offer concessions they didn't plan to offer. All you have to do is endure the silence longer than they can. It is a game of chicken. Who will break first? Who needs the validation more? The person who speaks first loses. The person who explains first loses. Next time, try it. When they finish speaking, count to 5 in your head. Do not move. Watch the paranoia bloom in their eyes. Watch them scramble to fix what isn't even broken. And realize that by keeping your mouth shut, you are screaming louder than they ever could. There is a law written in the history of every empire, every boardroom, and every negotiation that you keep breaking. It is a law that the most powerful people on earth follow religiously, and the weak violate daily. Robert Greene, in the 48 Laws of Power, codified it as Law 4. Always say less than necessary. But you don't do that. You do the opposite. You say more than necessary. You say everything. You treat your thoughts like they are public property, distributing them to anyone who asks. You think that by explaining your position, you are strengthening it. You think that if you lay out your logic, your reasons, and your justifications, you are building a fortress of rationality that no one can breach. You are wrong. When you explain yourself, you are not building a fortress. You are handing the enemy the blueprints to the castle. You are circling your weak points in red ink. Think about it. When you make a decision, let's say you tell a friend no to an invitation, or you tell a colleague you won't help with their project, and then you follow it up with because. Because I'm really tired. Because I have this other deadline. Because my budget is tight right now. Do you know what you just did? You just gave them a target. If you say, I can't because I'm tired, they now have an opening. Oh, it won't be late. You can sleep in tomorrow. If you say, I have a deadline, they counter. It will only take an hour. If you say my budget is tight, they say, I'll cover you. You can pay me back. By explaining your why, you invite them to debate your reality. You turn a decision into a negotiation. You have taken a solid stone wall, the word no, and turned it into a pile of loose gravel that they can kick around until they find a way through. Sun Tzu called this the art of formlessness. In war, you never want the enemy to know your formation. If they know you are attacking from the left, they will defend the left. If they know you are low on supplies, they will wait you out. Your silence is your formlessness. When you are silent, you are a fog. They cannot hit you because they cannot see you. They don't know your criteria. They don't know your limits. They don't know what motivates you. And because they don't know, they cannot manipulate you. But the moment you explain your silence, the fog lifts. You become a solid object. You become a static target. I was quiet because I was offended by that joke. Boom. Now they know your trigger. They know exactly how to get under your skin next time. You just handed them the remote control to your emotions. I was quiet because I'm worried about the risks. Boom. Now they know you are risk-averse. They will spin their next pitch to sound safe. They will manipulate your fear because you told them where it lives. You need to understand that information is ammunition. Every word that leaves your mouth is a bullet you are handing to the person across from you. Maybe they are a friend, and they will put the bullet in their pocket. But maybe, just maybe, they will put it in a gun and aim it at you 3 months from now. Why take that risk? The most powerful answer in the world is the one that has no because attached to it. I'm not going to do that. Why? I don't want to. Silence. What are you thinking? I'm thinking. Silence. See the difference? It is impenetrable. There are no hooks for them to grab onto. There is no logic for them to dismantle. You are operating from a place of absolute authority. You struggle with this because you view silence as withholding. You think it's mean. You think it's rude. You have been conditioned to believe that sharing is caring. But in the realm of power dynamics, and make no mistake, every relationship has a power dynamic. Sharing is bleeding. Stop trying to be understood. The need to be understood is a child's need. A child cries and explains because they need the parent to fix the problem. You are not a child. You are an adult, a sovereign entity. You do not need to be understood to be effective. You do not need to be understood to be respected. In fact, the less you are understood, the more you are respected. People respect what they cannot conquer, and they cannot conquer what they cannot understand. So keep your logic to yourself. Keep your reasons in the vault. Let them guess why you did what you did. Let them stay up at night analyzing your motives. While they are wasting energy trying to solve the riddle of you, you will be moving on to the next victory, untouched and undefined. Every time you open your mouth, you are spending currency. Energy is finite. Attention is finite. Willpower is finite. You wake up every morning with a specific balance in your account, and every word you speak is a debit. Every explanation is a transaction fee. Every argument is a bad investment that drains your reserves. But you don't treat it that way. You treat your words like they are free. You throw them around like confetti. You spend hours explaining your dreams to people who don't care, explaining your feelings to people who can't process them, explaining your strategies to people who will steal them. You are socially bankrupting yourself. And then you look at the people you call quiet. You look at the masters of silence. And you mistake their stillness for inactivity. You think they aren't doing anything. You are dead wrong. They are doing the most productive thing in the room. They are investing. While you are busy broadcasting your signal, they are tuning their receiver. While you are hyperventilating to make a point, they are analyzing the room. They are watching who looks at who when the boss makes a joke. They are noticing the twitch in your eye when money is mentioned. They are cataloging the inconsistencies in someone's story. This is the difference between empty silence and calculated silence. Empty silence is when you are zoned out, fearful, or disassociated. That is the silence of the prey. Calculated silence is the silence of the predator. It is active. It is predatory. It is a high-frequency state of observation where you are absorbing data at a rate the talkers cannot match. Think about the last social gathering you attended. There is always that one person who is the life of the party. They are telling stories. They are laughing loud. They are keeping the energy up. By the end of the night, they are exhausted. They are drained. They have given everything they had to the room. And what do they have to show for it? They learn nothing. They know nothing new about the people around them because they were too busy projecting themselves onto the world. Now look at the observer in the corner, the one you thought was shy. They leave that party with a dossier. They know that Mike is cheating on his wife. They saw the text notification. They know that Sarah is insecure about her job. They heard the subtext in her bragging. They know exactly who holds the power in the group and who is just pretending. They leave richer than they arrived. They profited from the exchange. This is the investment strategy you need to adopt. You need to stop viewing conversation as a stage where you perform and start viewing it as a market where you acquire assets. Information is the asset. Leverage is the asset. But you cannot collect these assets if your mouth is open. You cannot listen while you are talking. It is physically impossible. When you explain your silence, you are essentially apologizing for saving your money. Sorry, I'm not talking much. I'm just tired. Translation: sorry, I'm not spending my energy on you. Please forgive me. Why are you apologizing? You are smart enough to know where to invest your time. You are smart enough to know that 90% of conversations are noise. They are low-yield bonds. They are junk stocks. Gossip, small talk, complaining about the weather. These are bad investments. They yield zero return. So you choose to remain silent. You choose to withhold your capital. That is a sign of intelligence, not stupidity. It is a sign that you value your resources. But society hates a hoarder. People want you to spend. They want you to leak your energy so they can feed off it. They want you to validate their noise with your noise. And when you don't, they try to shame you into opening your wallet. You're being too quiet. Cat got your tongue. Why are you sitting there judging everyone? They are trying to goad you into spending. Don't take the bait. You need to realize that your silence is an accumulation of power. Every moment you stay quiet while others ramble is a moment you are gaining the upper hand. You are becoming superior not because you are arrogant, but because you are informed. Who had a good reason for the screw-up? But that is not what a leader hears. When you explain yourself to authority, you are validating their frame. You are accepting the premise that you are the accused and they are the judge. You are reinforcing the hierarchy where you are at the bottom, scraping for approval. And here is the dark psychology of leadership that no HR manual will tell you. Leaders are subconsciously disgusted by employees who over-explain. It smells of weakness. It smells of a lack of ownership. When you give an excuse, even a valid one, it signals that you are controlled by external circumstances. The client, the time, the confusion, these are all things that happen to you. You are painting yourself as a victim of your environment. True power respects true power, and true power takes ownership without flinching. Imagine the scenario. Boss, this report is late. Option A, you. I know. I'm so sorry. But marketing didn't get me the numbers until 4 p.m., and then my computer crashed, and I really tried to. Result: you look frantic. You look like you can't manage your workflow. The boss feels like they have to parent you. Option B, the silent kill. Boss, this report is late. You. Pause. Eye contact. No flinching. It is. It will be on your desk in 20 minutes. End of sentence. Feel the difference? In option B, there is no excuse. There is no begging. You acknowledged the reality. It is, and you provided the solution. You didn't offer your throat. You stood your ground. This terrifies bad managers and earns the respect of good ones. Bad managers want you to grovel. They want to feel their power over you. When you deny them the explanation, when you deny them the, "I'm sorry, please don't be mad," dance, you disrupt their ego trip. You become unmanageable in the sense that you cannot be emotionally manipulated. You are a professional, not a punching bag. Good managers, on the other hand, see something rare: confidence. They see someone who doesn't crumble under pressure. They see someone who focuses on the fix, not the feelings. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about when you are right and they are wrong. This is the hardest silence to keep. Your boss is saying something factually incorrect. They are blaming you for something they did. Every fiber of your being wants to scream, "Check the emails. You told me to do it this way." Don't. If you correct them in the moment, you humiliate them. You trigger their defense mechanisms. You win the argument, but you lose the war. You make an enemy who has the power to fire you. Instead, use the silence of the graveyard. Let them talk. Let them be wrong. Look at them with that neutral, unbothered gaze. When they realize you aren't fighting back, they often run out of steam. They start to hear how ridiculous they sound. And later, when the emotions have cooled, you send the email. Your existence, your work is the explanation. If it's good, it screams. If it's bad, no amount of words will fix it. You are the glue. In every one of your friendships, you are the one doing the heavy lifting. You are the one asking the questions. You are the one laughing at the jokes. You are the one texting first. You are the one filling the dead air because you are terrified that if the conversation stops, the friendship dies. And you are right, but not for the reason you think. You have surrounded yourself with people who do not love you. They love your utility. They love that you are a mirror that reflects their own ego back at them. They love that you make them feel interesting. They love that you are an audience that never boos and always claps. But you don't see this. You call them friends. You think the connection is mutual. So let's run a test. A brutal, efficient, undeniable test. Next time you are with them, at the bar, at dinner, on the phone, stop performing. Stop carrying the conversation. Stop asking, "And then what happened?" Stop laughing at jokes that aren't funny. Just exist. Be silent. Be present, but be silent. Watch how quickly the energy shifts. Watch how the friendship starts to rot before your eyes in a matter of minutes. First, they will be confused. They are used to you pressing the button that dispenses validation. They press it, and nothing comes out. Then, they will get annoyed. They will check their phone. They will look around the room for someone more interesting. And then, the accusation comes. "What is your problem today? Why are you acting so weird? Are you mad at me?" Notice the language. They make your silence an aggression. They make your lack of applause an attack on them. They are demanding you get back in your box. They are demanding you put the costume back on and dance. And this is the moment you usually fold. You panic. You value the relationship more than your dignity. No, I'm sorry, I'm just tired. So tell me more about your date. You apologize. You rush to explain. You patch the hole in their ego. And they relax. The parasite is fed. But what if you didn't explain? What if you just looked at them and said, "I'm just listening"? Or better yet, said nothing at all. You would see the truth that breaks your heart. They have nothing to talk to you about. Without your prompting, without your constant effort to mine their life for content, there is no connection. They don't ask about your life. They don't know your fears. They don't know your dreams. They only know that you are a convenient receptacle for their noise. Silence is the ultimate social filter. It is the bleach that cleans your circle. When you stop explaining your silence, the fake friends will eliminate themselves. They will stop calling. They will stop inviting you out. Why? Because you are no longer a good investment for them. You are a broken appliance. You no longer dispense the supply they need, and you should let them go. You are terrified of this because you think losing friends means you are lonely. But you are already lonely. You are sitting in a room full of people who don't see you, exhausting yourself to keep them entertained. That is the worst kind of loneliness. Real friendship, the kind you actually crave, lives comfortably in silence. With a real friend, the silence isn't heavy. It's rest. You can sit in a car for an hour and not say a word, and it feels like a warm blanket. You don't have to explain why you're quiet because they know you. They aren't projecting their insecurity onto you. They aren't demanding you perform. But you will never find those people as long as your calendar is clogged with the parasites. You will never find the kings and queens as long as you are busy entertaining the court jesters. You have to be willing to be the villain in their story. You have to be willing to be the weird one who stopped talking. Let them gossip about you. He's changed. She thinks she's better than us. He's so boring now. Good. Let them talk. Their gossip is the sound of them losing access to you. Do not explain your evolution to people who are committed to your stagnation. Do not explain your new boundaries to people who benefited from your lack of them. If they ask, "Why are you so quiet?" and you feel that pull to comfort them, resist it. Let the silence hang. Let it be awkward. That awkwardness is the feeling of a parasitic cord being cut. It is painful, yes, but it is the only way to get your blood back. To notice. You see the slight hesitation before your boss promises a raise. You know he's lying. You see the way two colleagues glance at each other when a specific name is mentioned. You know they are allied against a third. You hear what isn't being said. You hear the insecurity in the loud guy's voice. You hear the fear in the apology. This is intelligence. Real intelligence is not memorizing facts. It is pattern recognition. And you cannot recognize patterns if you are part of the noise. While they are playing checkers, reacting to the move right in front of them, you are playing chess. You are 3 moves ahead because you have the data they missed. You know who is sleeping with who. You know who is stealing from the company. You know who is about to quit. You know these things not because you are a genius, but because you were quiet enough to hear the whispers. And this creates a compounding interest of competence. Every day you stay silent, you get better. You are becoming better day by day, just like you said. You are accumulating wisdom while they are just recycling words. Think of a sniper. The sniper does not run around the battlefield screaming and shooting a machine gun into the air. The sniper lies in the mud, perfectly still, perfectly silent, waiting, watching. The enemy walks right past him, thinking he is just a lump of dirt. They think he is nothing. And then, bang, 1 shot. 1 kill. That is you. But you ruin the position if you stand up and yell, "Hey, I'm a sniper. I'm really dangerous. Look at my rifle." If you explain your silence, you give away your position. You tell them, "I am analyzing you." And the moment you tell them that, they put up their shields. They stop showing you their true selves. You blind yourself by trying to prove you can see. You have to accept the loneliness of competence. It is lonely at the top of the intelligence hierarchy because you are watching people make mistakes you could prevent, but you know that speaking up would ruin your advantage. Let them think you are the fool. There is a profound power in being the fool who survives while the smart ones destroy each other. There is a story of a banker who sat in a meeting with the richest men in the world. For 2 hours, he didn't say a word. The others argued, debated, postured. Finally, one of them turned to him and asked, "Why are you here if you have nothing to say?" The banker smiled and said, "I am learning how to take your money." He didn't explain his silence. He explained the consequence of his silence. You are building an empire in your mind. You are constructing a worldview that is accurate, sharp, and ruthless. You are shedding the delusions that the talkers rely on. This is a private transformation. It is not for public consumption. Stop trying to get the uneducated label off your back. Wear it. If they think you are dumb, they will sign contracts they shouldn't sign. They will make bets they can't win. They will invite you into rooms where they discuss their secrets, thinking you are too dense to understand the implications. And you will sit there. You will nod. You will smile your silent smile. And you will own them. Because in the land of the blind talkers, the one-eyed silent man is not just king. He is God. He sees the future because he is the only one watching the present. Don't explain it. Don't justify it. Just watch. And when the time comes to act, your action will be so precise, so devastatingly effective, that no explanation will ever be needed again. Picture a medieval court. In the center of the room, there is a man in bright colors, doing backflips, telling jokes, juggling fire. He is loud. He is frantic. He is desperate for attention. He checks the faces of the crowd every 3 seconds to make sure they are laughing. If they stop looking at him, he panics and rings his bells louder. That is the jester. Now look at the throne. There sits a man in the shadows. He is not moving. He is not smiling. He is not trying to entertain anyone. He speaks in a whisper, yet when he opens his mouth, the entire room freezes to catch the words. He does not look around to see if people like him. He knows who he is. That is the king. Now look in the mirror. Which one are you? Every time you rush to explain your silence, you are putting on the bells. Jingle, jingle. I didn't mean to ignore you. Jingle, jingle. I just have a lot on my mind. Jingle, jingle. Please don't be mad at me. You are dancing. You are performing. You are treating every interaction like an audition where you have to prove you are worthy of being in the room. You think that by explaining yourself, you are showing respect. But you aren't. You are showing submission. The jester explains himself to the crowd because his survival depends on their applause. The king explains himself to no one because his survival depends on his own authority. You are trapped in this dynamic because you are terrified of the arrogance label. You have been taught that nice people are accessible. You have been taught that good people make others feel comfortable. So you shrink. You make yourself small and digestible. You vocalize your inner monologue so that nobody feels threatened by your mystery. But here is the truth nobody tells you. You cannot be respected and accessible at the same time. Access is cheap. If anyone can get you to explain yourself with a simple raised eyebrow or a passive-aggressive comment, you are cheap. You are a vending machine that dispenses validation for free. You need to kill the jester. It is going to feel like dying. The first time you sit in a group and don't laugh at a bad joke, you will feel a spike of adrenaline. You will feel the social pressure crushing your chest. You will think, they hate me. They think I'm a jerk. Let them. The moment you stop dancing is the moment you start ruling. When you explain your silence, you are essentially saying, I am an open book. Please read me. You are handing them the pen and asking them to write your story. When you keep your silence, you are saying, I am a closed book. You have to earn the right to open me. This is the shift from auditioning to auditing. Right now, you are auditioning for your friends, your boss, your partner. You are the one trying to get the part. Did I do good? Do you like me? Am I smart enough? But when you go silent, the table turns. Suddenly, they are auditioning for you. They start trying to impress you. They start trying to earn your reaction. They start wondering if they are good enough for you. Why isn't he laughing? Maybe my joke wasn't funny. Why isn't she arguing? Maybe she knows something I don't. You become the judge simply by refusing to be the defendant. But you have to be willing to be disliked. The jester is liked. Everyone loves the jester. He makes them feel safe. He makes them laugh. But nobody respects the jester. Nobody follows the jester into battle. Nobody asks the jester for advice on life or death decisions. The king is often feared. He is often misunderstood. He is often called cold or arrogant or distant. So be it. You said in your notes, if you tell them your silence, then you will be the king for them too. No. If you tell them, you are just a jester explaining a magic trick. The magic dies the moment you explain it. To be the king, you must remain a mystery. You must be comfortable with the fact that people will project their own issues onto you. If they are insecure, they will call your silence stuck up. If they are needy, they will call your silence mean. If they are chaotic, they will call your silence boring. That has nothing to do with you. That is their reflection in your mirror. Do not wipe the mirror. Do not apologize for the reflection. You are building a kingdom of self-mastery. And in that kingdom, the most valuable currency is your attention. Stop throwing it away on people who haven't paid the price of admission. Stop explaining the walls of your castle to the people standing in the mud. Pull up the drawbridge. Let them wonder what's inside. Let them create legends about you. Let them become paranoid about your plans. Because while the jester is exhausted from dancing for scraps of love, the king is resting. He is observing. He is planning. And he is powerful precisely because he does not need to tell you that he is. Here is the final choice. You are standing at a fork in the road, and you cannot stay where you are. On the left is the path you have walked your entire life. The path of the apologist. If you choose this path, you will continue to be nice. You will continue to explain your every move. You will continue to hand over the keys to your mental house to anyone who knocks. I'm sorry I didn't reply. I'm just trying to figure things out. Here is why I did what I did. And your future on this path is crystal clear. You will be liked, but you will never be respected. You will be part of the group, but you will never be the leader. You will burn through your life energy managing other people's emotions, soothing their insecurities, and making sure they feel comfortable with your existence. You will live and die as a battery for other people's egos. You will be a secondary character in your own movie. It is safe. It is comfortable. And it is mediocre. On the right is the path you are afraid to take. The path of the silent empire. This path is cold. It is lonely. It requires you to kill the part of yourself that screams for validation. If you choose this path, you go dark. Today, you stop announcing your plans. You stop telling people what you are going to do. You stop posting about the grind. You stop trying to convince your friends that your new idea will work. You stop trying to explain your transformation to your family. You simply disappear into the work. There is a biological reality you need to understand. When you tell someone your goal, your brain releases dopamine. You get the reward chemical just for talking about it. You feel like you've achieved something. And that fake satisfaction kills your drive to actually do the work. The talker feels good. The builder feels hungry. You need to starve yourself of the cheap dopamine of being understood. Imagine the next 6 months. You are working on yourself. You are building that business. You are changing your physique. You are sharpening your mind. But nobody knows. You go to dinner with friends, and you don't talk about it. They ask, what's new? You say, same old, same old. You lie. You downplay. You feed them the gray rock. You let them think you are stagnant. You let them think you are just coasting. While they are busy judging your lack of progress, you are stacking bricks in the dark. You are constructing a skyscraper behind a curtain. This is the ultimate form of it makes them paranoid. Paranoia comes from the unknown. If they know what you are doing, they can sabotage you. They can doubt you. They can put their negative energy on you. Oh, are you sure that's a good idea? My cousin tried that and failed. Their words are poison. Silence is the antidote. When you build in silence, they cannot touch you. They cannot knock over a tower they don't know exists. And then comes the day the curtain drops. The reveal. You show up, and you are different. The results are undeniable. The money is in the bank. The body is changed. The status is elevated. And you didn't say a word. Watch their faces then. That is the moment of your total victory. They will be confused. When did you do this? How did this happen? Why didn't you tell us? And the paranoia will consume them. They will realize that while they were swimming in the shallow end of gossip and noise, you were crossing the ocean underwater. They will realize they don't know you at all. They will realize that you are capable of things they can't even fathom because you have the discipline to hold your tongue. They will look at you with a mix of fear and awe. They will wonder what else you are hiding. They will wonder what else you are capable of. You have become a force of nature. A force of nature does not explain why it is storming. It just storms. A force of nature does not apologize for the earthquake. It just shakes the ground. So here is your binary choice. Option A, open your mouth. Ease the tension. Explain your silence. Make them feel better. Stay a jester. Option B, close your mouth. Let the tension rise. Let them be paranoid. Let them project. Keep your plans in the vault. Build your empire in the shadows. Become the king. The next time someone asks you a question that is none of their business. The next time a pause stretches out and you feel the urge to fill it. The next time you want to announce a move you haven't made yet. Swallow the words. Bite your tongue until it bleeds if you have to. Let the silence do the talking. The era of explanation is over. The era of the silent empire begins now. What is your move?